Hey, Amar here. In this video, I'm going to be sharing 5 ways that you can awaken your divine masculine energies. This is a very important topic, a very important subject for everybody, not just men, but for women also. If you're familiar with psychology, it's well known that women have a bit of masculinity within them and men have some femininity within them. However, because masculinity generally tends to get a very bad rap in the 21st century, because of a lot of bad things that have happened, we kind of shut ourselves off from having a healthy expression of it. Obviously, we have had problems in the past which weren't healthy masculinity, but that doesn't mean it's all bad. And if you have that mindset that it's all bad, you are going to limit yourself. You are going to prevent your fullest expression. And actually embodying your masculine energy more, whether you're a man or woman, is going to help you a lot. If you struggle or suffer in any area of your life, I feel like you are lacking potentially some masculinity. You don't have a healthy balance between your feminine and masculine. And that healthy balance is different for everyone, right? Not everybody's going to be hyper masculine like The Rock or whoever you think is super masculine, Conor McGregor or someone, right? Not everybody has to be like that, but we all have to find our own balance. What I see though, generally speaking, masculinity isn't expressed in a healthy way, right? This is a problem. So what I want to show you here is these 5 traits that help you express it in a healthy way, will help you tap into it so you can integrate this energy and make it a part of who you are, right? So you become a healthy embodiment of that. And that is, of course, what we need more of. And even though in past history, masculine energy has been destructive because the people who've been using it haven't embodied it in a healthy way. But if you consider all the great men in history, let's say, they were people who embodied it in a healthy way, right? And we need more of that. And spirituality is essentially the path. And that's why I'm making the video, is to help men and women become more aware of this. So just to give you a general idea of what's the difference between feminine energy and masculine energy? This is a very broad generalization, so don't take it literally, but this is the gist of it. Feminine energy is being. So as I'm always talking about on this channel, like meditation or mindfulness, these are states of just being, right? You're not really doing anything, you're just being. You've cleared your mind, you're just being. That's feminine, right? However, we live in a dualistic world, which means we have to do things. We have to live our lives. And I feel like we all have a purpose. We are here to do something. The doing part of life is the masculine part. So we've got the being, which is great. We need a lot of that in order to be effective. But then we also need to do the doing part effectively, to be competent at doing. Because if we can't do the doing part very well, we cannot share what we're here to share. We cannot be who or help other people or become who we are meant to become, right? So we need both, being and doing. Unless you want to become a yogi who lives in a mountain somewhere and just meditates all day, you might not need to worry about the doing, so you're okay. But 99.9% of us are living in the world, do want to live in the world, I believe, so we need to get the doing part handled. Too many of us are kind of incompetent. We're not very good at what we do. We're lazy, we're unmotivated, we're unfocused. These are all lacking masculine energy, as you're going to find out. So now let me take you to these 5 traits that will help you access more masculine energy in your own life. In no order or particular order, and there's more than 5. I'm just going to give you these 5. And then you'll get a basic gist of what's masculine and what isn't. So the first one is confidence and self-belief. For you to do anything in this world, for you to be who you are, you need to have a certain level of confidence. For you to speak your truth, for you to pursue your passion, for you to put yourself out there and do what you are destined to do, requires confidence and self-belief. These are very masculine qualities, right? And like I said, these are available to men and women. I'm not just saying only men can be confident and speak out. I'm saying everybody can, but we need to connect to it within ourselves in order to have that self-belief. A prime example of someone who's lacking in masculine energy would be someone who's socially anxious. This person is afraid to speak out, they're afraid to be confident, right? They're missing something. If they were to tap into their masculine energy, I believe they would find that confidence to express their truth. Okay, so that takes me on to the second trait that will help you cultivate more masculine energy in your life, and that is emotional mastery. So if you watch my channels, I'm big on talking about emotions, emotional mastery. I generally say emotional mastery is life mastery, right? If you can handle your emotions, you're going to be able to handle life and everything that comes with it. So emotions generally are feminine because emotions just flow, which is fine. The problem is if the emotions that are flowing are negative emotions, depression, fear, anger, resentment, right? They're just flowing. That's not serving you, right? That's creating a lot of problems for you. It's making you suffer. So we need to learn to master the emotions. It's the mastery of the emotions, this element we bring in, let's say to try to control them almost, is the masculine part. And when we can begin to master our emotions, we become much more effective. If you've been working on emotional mastery for a long time, you'll begin to realize that even the most negative emotions you experience, you can begin to tap into them and direct them towards something positive. I might make a separate video on this, but it's absolutely doable. And if you consider something like Stoicism, which is a famous Greek or Roman teaching about men who were stoic and they weren't all controlled by their emotions and they got stuff done, doesn't mean that they didn't feel. They did feel their emotions. They just didn't let their emotions cloud their judgment. They didn't allow their emotions to control them, to stop them from doing something, right? And we need to find the same mastery over our own emotions. So that takes me on to the third trait of the divine masculine, and that is setting boundaries, standing up for yourself. This is something that will help everybody in all the relationships. I often get messages from young guys who tell me that they get mistreated, people don't respect them, people walk all over them. And that's so powerless. That is just so disrespectful that people treat people like this, right? And even women get mistreated by people, right? Codependency, what's that about? I would say on some level it's a lack of masculinity, it's a lack of a healthy relationship with your own masculinity, right? So on an emotional level, masculinity is more associated to the emotion of aggression. When we talk about aggression, obviously, immediately we think, okay, we're talking about destruction or doing something wrong or harming people. No, that's an unhealthy expression. That's a shadow element of it. Someone who's developed on an emotional level can cultivate and use their aggression to protect themselves, to protect their space. But if you're not connected to your aggression in a healthy way, because you're not embodying your masculinity, other people will sense that. If other people can sense that you can't defend yourself, they will expose you, they will exploit you. This is the nature of the world. So instead of blaming other people, understand that you can become stronger by connecting to your own masculinity, connecting to your natural aggression, which is there to protect you, to make you more stronger. There's nothing empowering about letting people walk all over you, right? There's nothing spiritual about that. We have to live in a world where we have autonomy, we are still ourselves, but on a grander scale, we understand we are still one with everyone else. So it's kind of counterintuitive. But the further you go on this path, the more you'll realize this to be the case. You're one in yourself and you're also one with everybody else, right? And if there's any holes in that oneness, they'll be exploited. So the fourth trait of bringing more masculine energy into your life is creating more order and discipline. This is something I've talked about a lot on the channel in the past. You basically need more order and discipline in your life if you want to change your life or have a different outcome or result. We look at the world now and so many of us are undisciplined. We have no structure, no order in our lives. We might waste time on social media. We might spend hours in front of watching Netflix or whatever we're doing, right? That's a lack of order and discipline. Collectively, that could be a lacking of healthy masculine energy. If more of us bring this masculine energy in individually and then hopefully collectively, I think we'll see a shift. People will stop being so lazy, right? And we'll have more purpose. We'll develop our lives in a way that we get more out of them. And so I think creating more order and discipline is definitely going to help you cultivate and access more of your masculine energy. So that takes me on to the fifth and final trait of connecting to your divine masculine, and that is cultivating more focus. So if we take it back to these analogies I just shared about the difference between femininity and masculinity, awareness in of itself, when you're just being in meditation, that awareness we could say is feminine. But when that awareness is directed towards something, it's focus. So masculine energy is very forward moving. When we focus on something, we're putting our attention directly towards something, right? That's the masculine part. And we need this again if we want to be effective. If we literally want to do anything in our lives, we need power of focus. Again, we live in a world now where focus is probably the lowest it's ever been for I don't know how long, but we're so distracted. We can't hold our concentration. We barely read. We can't watch long videos. And I grew up with ADHD. Over the years, I've cultivated and strengthened my focus, but it's something I'm always working on, right? You could never have too much focus. And this is why I also like practices like Zen Buddhism. Zen Buddhism is a very masculine approach to spirituality, I think, but it cultivates a lot of things like willpower, creating more focus and discipline. So it's something that I'm getting into more and more, but if you are interested, I highly suggest you check out Zen Buddhism, and I think it brings together masculinity and spirituality quite well. Okay, so these are the 5 traits I wanted to share with you. The more you can begin to embody these and live these through you, the more you're going to begin to cultivate more healthy masculine energy. You will become an embodiment of that. Wherever you go, other people will see you as this healthy embodiment of it, right? And you will positively influence other people, right? I have a son, and I like to think that the more I embody my masculinity, the more it helps him, okay? And I think it's hopefully the same for whoever you're around. If you're a single mother, for example, you will need to develop a healthy relationship to your own masculinity, especially if you have a son, because then your son will not grow up knowing what healthy masculinity is. So we are our role model. We are the role models for the younger people. So this just doesn't stop with you. This has ramifications for years and generations. Okay, so that is everything I have to talk about in this video. If you have anything to add, any points, any questions, any tips, feel free to hit me up in the comments. I hope to make more videos on this subject. I always say this and I never do, but I hope to, because it's something that interests me a lot. But otherwise, if you did enjoy the video, if you could please go ahead, give it a like, share, subscribe. It really helps me out. Check out my book if you haven't already. I'll put a link down below. But until next time, remember to keep living free and being free. Peace.